Hey everybody, this is Jacqueline from Unpcreality here on Friday, October 27th. I do have a special privilege today of having the ladies, Kimberly and Blair Bryant from the green room, or the podcast green room, pop culture green room, excuse me. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
On with me today to discuss the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills premiere. We had been talking
Yes.
on Facebook with regards to a lot of this stuff, so it's a pleasure to have you guys on today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So the Eagle Woman has landed, huh?
It took me a minute to figure out where they got this title from, but once I saw the spiritual healer show up to Dorit's house, I'm like, that's got to be what it's from.
Yeah, that's what it made sense.
Yes, exactly. I'm just wondering how many more of these, kumbaya retreats we're going to be
Retreats
to on the Housewives.
I know exactly. And to me, it's like it's starting to get redundant. It's getting boring, and it's just all these retreats and this deep breathing. I can do without it. I need my entertainment. It's like we go this long without a season, and then it's like, is this the first thing that we have to see? But
exactly. And one thing, and no sooner do they have these retreats where issues are put out and resolved, and then like break to or cut to a confessional where somebody is shading something that happened or minimalizing it,
Exactly. And it's kind of funny because it's like they seem pretty redundant, but I kind of think that production's being cheeky and they notice because they know that these women a lot of times are very volatile, are always going to go each other's throats for something, that none of this stuff works. They spend all this time, money, and energy into these healing events and this things to calm their minds down and to try to bring peace to the group, but it never happens. It never lasts. It doesn't obviously doesn't work. So
no, exactly. And when we're having to explain to some of the ladies what empathy means in confessionals, you start to wonder, where are we going with this? From what foundation are we growing,
Exactly. It's not going through anything.
And I can't remember if it was Dorit or PK. I'm pretty sure it was one of them when they were just presenting the idea in the first place, and they said something about it being a vision quest. And I was thinking, are we going to get an ayahuasca trip or something like that? I would watch. Yeah, that would be different.
And it's funny you say that because I've never seen it before. I've heard about people's reactions and everything too. I've never witnessed this. So yeah. I would be up for watching that.
The only pop culture reference I have for that is I did see Chelsea Handler on her. It was a documentary she put out on Netflix, I believe. It's really
that's what I heard. Yeah, I did hear she did a documentary. She covered that. I'd have to look into that.
It's interesting, but I've heard people, Housewives, Erin Leachy was talking about mushrooms in a podcast that she was on. So I know that they're leaning some exposure to that. So I thought maybe that might be where it was going. That would be different. But
yeah, now that you say it, I'm actually surprised they didn't. But I guess they wanted them to kind of stay as coherent as possible, not knowing what. But then again, you've seen them where they almost pass out in sweat lodge things and stuff they do.
Exactly.
Yeah, those episodes, now that I think about it, they're not really my favorite episodes. I kind of check out of them when they start going on these little retreats and stuff. I don't know why, but it's it's hard for me to really stay focused. I guess because it's always they go there to go heal and do something, but then the next episode, it's there's drama and a cat fight all over again. So.
Exactly. And round the merry-go-round we go.
Yep, rinse and repeat.
So what do you guys really think about what's going on with Kyle?
I think that they
I know that's a broad question, but right?
Yeah. It's a broad question, but it's a good question.
Yeah, very true, very true. It is a broad and a good question. My honest opinion is I think that they're just really good friends. I do think, however, Kyle is using it as part of the storyline for a show because, I mean, if she and Mauricio's marriage is one of rocks, I mean, obviously, I think they're going to stay together for financial purposes. Because I mean, they've been together, that's 30 years and everything. So it's like, I mean, they may just be separated, but maybe not file for divorce. I don't know. But I think that she and Morgan are really good friends. I think with her being on her sobriety journey, and I think with her, it is a different dynamic. But however, I do think that there is some gay baiting in a way, which I'm not really a fan of, because to me that's kind of like, I don't know, I don't like it. It just doesn't sit well with me. But that's those are kind of like my thoughts.
No, there is a certain ick factor, I would agree, and I don't really know where that comes from. It just, I don't know, maybe it was that video for me that kind of put it over the
Yeah,
edge.
I forgot about that.
And I don't know, they're just positioning themselves in such a way in public that almost forces you to ask these questions.
Right, and that's what it is, and that's why it's like I almost feel like, I'm like, if she's really in a relationship with her, then come out and say it. If not, then it's I've just never seen that many women that are like just friends with that much PDA.
Well, and more importantly, really, or more current, I guess, is all this talk about Emma Slater and Mauricio.
Yeah, exactly. And then did you see how she took the picture down, like that she don't on her Instagram with Dancing with the Stars picture with her with Emma Slater and Mauricio? She took it off of her Instagram and everything, and she admitted to it on Watch What Happens Live, and she said it bothered her.
Yes,
She said she feels like there's
exactly.
more going on, but
And I mean, that scene, it was a very awkward scene of them talking after he has that like conference call and she's waiting for him to get off the phone and they eventually talk and all of that. It was weird though, because I don't know, it seemed like it was filmed later on and then maybe edited back in.
That was my first thought too.
Yeah, I was thinking that also, because something about it just didn't seem right.
I think they probably wanted to kind of see something. I think they probably want to have some kind of continuity and where things kind of start going south between the two of them, and they want to show that. Because but circling back to the question about, are they or aren't they with Kyle and Morgan, I 1,000% think that they are absolutely a couple. Like, not only together, but together. They're because I mean, it's just the way everything's positioned, and it's like the way that all of a sudden Kyle, for some reason, it's like that she's up. Because I've seen for some reason I've seen women do this more than men. That if they're the ones who leave a relationship first or get with somebody else, but as soon as a partner, longtime partner, that's whatever's with somebody else, they get really upset and rattled by it.
That's true.
But then also too, it's kind of like I was to think back to when I first saw, like, I was kind of seeing Morgan Wade on her social media here and there. And it's kind of like, who's this random chick? It's kind of weird. It's kind of like a hanger on. And then like one time, like for some reason, I was kind of doom scrolling on Instagram like at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm seeing like that Kyle was on live, and I was like, that's strange. Let me check on Instagram Live, and it was Kyle and Kathy Hilton just having a good old time. And I'm like, oh, they're getting along again. They're talking about it, and Morgan was there singing, and Kathy was just all happy. Oh, I love my sister. And I thought about how it's like, wait a second, Kathy hates Mauricio. Something's up. So, and then when I heard about rumors about Morgan, I'm like, you know what? That has to be it. Her and Mauricio must have split up, and she's with Morgan, and she's happy because she's not with Mauricio anymore. So she came around and she's embracing this new woman who's in her life. And that's what I'm thinking. And then plus, like, the whole thing with the TikTok going around with Morgan's ex-girlfriend about how she definitely has about her and Kyle. I mean, to me, it just seems like it's just, I mean, they should just admit it already. And they've already traveled together, they traveled to Paris together.
True.
I mean, come on. It's like, I mean, I mean, they're not Thelma and Louise.
My understanding of Morgan Wade from a reputational standpoint, just based on what I've heard, because I had no frame of reference for this person whatsoever prior to Kyle, like I'm sure most of us. But my understanding is she, goes through them pretty quickly. and that she's been quote unquote single for 18 months now, which matches the time frame that she has been constantly around Kyle Richards.
Oh.
So, I mean, those two things seem congruent to me, but I am still kind of halfway between the two of you. I'm a little bit on the fence. Are they completely together or not? But what I will say is, knowing kind of how Kyle operates, I would think that if she's really going to bow out of this marriage, the one way that she can save face within herself and say, like, I won, is to get this attention and to get Mauricio and the public just questioning it. Just purely questioning it is enough for her to have won. You know, she's like, okay, you do whatever you want to do, Mauricio. Right. There have been rumors about you for a long time, but now I'm doing this, and I don't give a really crap what you think about it.
You know, Jacqueline, what's really interesting is that I said you feel like you're in the middle, because there's that saying that you probably always, I've always heard, you probably heard, is that the truth lies somewhere in the middle.
Right.
So you could be right. You could very well be right.
I think it's just whether there's truth to them messing around or not. The mere question in Mauricio's head is amusing to her. And I think it's amusing to her that they have scenes where, you know, he's questioning how many tattoos that she has and trying to control that situation. She's like, no, you don't have any control. No. Yeah. And it seems like he feels like he's losing his grasp. Now, when is that time frame of that conversation? I would really like to know, because I don't think it's when it's presented to us.
I don't think so either. I agree with you on that one.
It's funny. It's in a weird way. It's like, I'm kind of, I don't know if it's honestly, it's probably because of Dancing with the Stars. I'm like seeing a relationship play out as like a dance performance, as like she's pretty much like, she like was there with him by his side for so many years, and then she starts to drift, and then it's like he drifts, and then it's like she's running for him or running after him, and then she just checks out and just like dances away, and he's trying to like be like, where are you, like, come back here,
right?
And it's like,
it's definitely a push and pull going on.
That's
I see a lot of push and pull, it seems.
And that would be really symptomatic of, you know, a significant change in her life, i.e. that very, you know, traumatic situation with her sister. Obviously, the fact that she's kind of always been stuck between a rock and a hard place between her sister and her husband. And there's always been these rumors about Mauricio. She probably knows a lot more truth than she'd ever admit about any of that anyway. You know?
Oh, she has to. Yeah, definitely. And I didn't even know, like, I wasn't even privy to any of it. I don't know if it was because I wasn't paying attention or keeping my eyes open enough about it, but I didn't know anything or hear any kind of rumors about Mauricio until all this Morgan Wade stuff came up.
I think a lot of it was kind of more of like, if you were just really kind of like if you're really entangled in like the interwebs and like gossip sites and like Reddit and stuff like that, that's where you're gonna really kind of hear about it.
Oh, makes sense. Okay.
That's kind of where I found out like about most of it, just kind of like, you know, things here and there from like Demois, whatnot, and Reddit, but that was really about the extent of it. But for me, like one of the most earth-shattering things of all of this was whenever that psychic Alison Dubois was at Camille's dinner party at time, like
oh yeah,
I think it was season 2, and she said that Mauricio would never fulfill Kyle emotionally ever, and that all they have what's keeping them together are the kids, and that's what they have in common right now, and that once that's over, that's it. And the fact that she nailed that is just insane.
Yeah, that is so true. And now Kyle's like, you know, being faced with that, and she said something like, well, she didn't say divorce specifically, and this, that, there's like some question about the actual like language of what she said. I'm like, give me a break, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what the implication was. We know that she wasn't talking about Camille. She's expressed that to the media multiple times, probably to garner attention for herself, whatever, but the fact is she called it.
She did. Yeah. And to me, I thought it was really interesting because and I actually love that like I was like, what is it? Redemption, but also what's that word I'm thinking about? Um, like it's escaping right now. It'll come to me, but kind of like because of the fact that like I believe in people who are like psychics and whatnot, but you have certain people who don't, and they just think that all of them are fake and all of them are just out to get people's money. But there's something about it's something very satisfying to see that she actually nailed it and was right.
Yeah, that's very true. I pretty much felt the same way.
Do we actually think that there's any truth to the Emma Slater stuff? I mean, and furthermore, do these dancing pros really just sit around and wait to get swooped up by people on these shows? Because this has happened like a couple times now.
It's happened. It's funny you brought that up because it's happened a lot. And I was actually kind of pondering that same thought yesterday as I was watching TMZ. I was like, do they sit here and wait for this to happen? Because they've got to make money too. And then them staying relevant, like outside of the show, like that helps them in so many other ways too. So it's like, then of course, like you said, like relationships, they start, they end, and everything happens under the sun. So I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm sorry. I don't watch Dancing with the Stars. I just have like some, backhand interest because of Ariana and Mauricio. Really, that's it in terms of that. So I would have no idea who Emma Slater even was if it weren't for this. So that just alone proves that point,
Which is true, which is very true because, when it comes to Dancing with the Stars, I'm very selective on which season I watch, and I usually don't even watch the whole thing. And it's funny for saying I grew up as a dancer, and I danced for years throughout college, and even with the girls of my university's dance team. And then I can only sit down and watch so much of it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's just never appealed to me. This one in particular does, because I'll always be a VPR fan and all of that.
Yeah, but I'm also not
Ariana stuff, but
right. And I'm also not terribly surprised about the relationships that come out of it and like the dating and hooking up and scandals and whatnot. Because think about it, it's like it's a big production. It takes hours upon hours per day. They're all kind of sequestered, together. We put a bunch of celebrities or attractive people together. When they've spent much time together away from their families and their homes, what do you think is going to happen? So
sure, and they can always explain those things away. They were just having dinner together. Well, we're dancing partners. We spent a lot of time together. Okay,
right.
But I don't know. I guess more to be revealed in terms of that. I just personally, I mean, maybe when he was younger, he was like the hottest house husband, quote unquote. But he's creepy to me now, guys. Like, I don't know. Creepy. Is that just me?
A lot of people have been saying it. To me, he's not creepy. I think what it is, it's just that you could see that you could tell he loves the attention, and he's there for it, and he's going to capitalize on it.
Yeah, I agree.
I see a little bit of like corny or like smarmy, but not like totally creepy like that. I've seen way worse, but I don't feel like he's gotten there yet, which I hope he doesn't. Because I genuinely like Mauricio, but I guess like Kim said, I agree that you could tell he likes the attention.
Yeah, the only other thing that I noted on just Kyle specifically that struck me as odd, I don't know at what point in the episode she discusses this, but she's talking about like her issues with the women and where things stood based on last season. And basically the expectation that she had that Sutton and Dorit would be like staying back or would have come and like physically approached her at the reunion when some of that stuff was going down and she was basically breaking down over Kathy. Did y'all hear about this? Do you remember her commenting on that?
I think there was just kind of mentioned like that. She mentioned more or less that she was hoping that they should have gotten more support from Sutton and Dorit than she actually did. But they've been kind of more like Team Kathy, I guess, or more like hanging out with Kathy, especially in Sutton's case, like hanging out with her and whatnot and spending more time with her. And I feel like that Kyle's upset about that. I feel like I remember that now. Yes.
Do you find that strange that that was the expectation that she would have at the reunion? I don't know.
A little bit, yeah, because I feel like, I mean, for Dorit, yeah, but Sutton, no, because I didn't think she even liked Sutton. So I thought that was a little weird that she had an expectation of her.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
For Dorit, I can see her expecting it, because I mean, she kind of spent more time with her new closer friends.
And Dorit is kind of a kiss ASS anyway. For most.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's more of what I was thinking. I just was like, but you and Sutton aren't really friends like that.
That's why I'm surprised that she brought up
Sutton.
Sutton.
Kind of shady towards Sutton, really.
Yeah. I was very surprised she brought up Sutton yesterday in that capacity. I was like, Sutton, really? I'm like, I thought you didn't like her. I mean, that's what the action showed, you know.
Sutton, what do y'all think about Sutton before I say anything? Because this is a very polarizing topic, apparently.
So I actually like Sutton a lot. I think, me personally, I really think she's misunderstood. It seems to me, like me, I think that she's trying to find common ground with people. I think, yeah, there are moments where I think she had a habit of making things like about herself, a lot about herself. But then at the same time, it's like I just saw her just trying to find herself. She was trying to find a way to be relatable. And then whenever she would try to come off as being relatable, it's like, oh, she's making it all about herself. And I don't know if I'm catching it, because I would do the same thing. And a few people used to tell me that in the past. Like they're like, this isn't all about you. You're making it all about yourself. And I'm like, I'm just trying to find a way to make a situation relatable to you, because the way I was raised and I grew up, it's like I was told, don't be nosy and don't ask people so many questions. So I wouldn't do it. And the way I would engage is I would bring up something, like try to find a common, something like a common
commonality.
Exactly. Yeah, a commonality. And that's why I see things differently when it comes to Sutton. So that's why I actually like her a lot.
I'm glad y'all said that. I am team Sutton. I said in my notes, it said Sutton.
Oh, good.
Okay, I'm team Sutton also. I love her.
Team Sutton.
Sutton's shady smirk. I said, God damn it, keep her forever.
Right. She's been one of my favorite cast members of Beverly Hills, and I'm really glad that a lot of the audience, for the most part, absolutely love her and Garcelle. Because it's like, I mean, I feel like they're authentic, but they're also not as catty, and they're likable, and I love it. And I love their friendship as well.
Right.
Definitely. And Blair's actually met Garcelle in person.
Oh, really?
I did, yes. I worked backstage at an event for I was a production assistant for it was the Essence Fest Expo. And it was her and a few other actresses. I was with them for about a couple of hours, kind of like bring them to the activations and whatnot. And I mean, she was delightful. Garcelle was delightful. She's exactly how I see her on a show. Very friendly, very delightful, very, very kind. She was asking me about myself, even though she knew me from Adam, and I was just basically just like, an assistant, but she was asking about me and whatnot. And very kind person, and just very witty. And I was really excited when I heard that she got cast for this show, because I mean, she fits in perfectly, and I feel like that she does a good job balancing out like the people on a show, because it's like on the cast, because I feel like a lot of them could be very like, what do you want to say, kind of like very high strong, but a lot of times Garcelle's kind of like, it's really not that serious.
Yeah,
and I love that about her. She brings a good fresh energy and a positive energy to the show.
I agree. Hang on.
Okay.
So yeah, I absolutely agree about the Sutton stuff. I'm sorry. I know she really doesn't bring her own stuff to the show necessarily that much, which has been an issue that's been pointed out. But I love her perspective on things. I love her shape. Right. I like the Southern flavor. I know y'all are from Louisiana. I'm from Texas. I can relate to that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I will say that I would like her to be better about the fact that she needs to check for accuracy on some of her statements before she just blanketly says things. I don't. True. As it turns out, because I was like, wait, what about the comment that she made about PK's arrest and having a woman in the car?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were actually literally just talking about that. So did you watch What Happens Live? Jacqueline, did you watch it?
Yes. So
Okay.
apparently there is no validity to that.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Blair. I was talking to her about that.
Yeah, I just don't. I think if there was, we would have heard about it prior.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too, because usually I know that typically, like if there's somebody else in the car with you, like if a police report comes out, I don't know. I believe the other person's name is listed on it, is with them being like in the vehicle with them. Because I know they'll like obtain like an ID or whatever and stuff and the person's information, but I believe that they would have released that there was someone else in the car with them. But
I would have to imagine. I mean, I think it is up to the arresting officer's discretion as to whether or not they're going to question another person in the vehicle. But being the fact that he's a famous individual, they would have had eyes and ears all over that arrest.
I agree.
Cops talking about it in the precinct. They would have had the guy that was arresting him telling his lieutenant about it. You know, if it's gonna get out, I would think we would know something about that already. So I just, have shade, but like, let's know that what you're talking about means something in the future, and it's not just like nonsense.
Right.
And what about that scene whenever Dorit was upset, like whenever it happened, that little gathering, and Dorit was upset about what Erica said at at BravoCon last year.
Oh my God, that was
I can't get about how she was there with her full chest and was like, Dorit and PK next. Is she being like, she's right, because now it's like rumors are circulating like crazy that they're about to split up, or that they have.
Yeah, that her impression of Erica and her little confessional scene of, you know, that imitation of Erica when she was at BravoCon was probably the best thing I've ever heard Dorit say. Literally. Like, she just had like the comedic timing absolutely perfect, because you could tell she was, you know, sometimes I'm kind of the same way. If I'm like real irritated about something, I might be snarky funny in a way that's more amusing than normal. And she had that going on. I thought that was hilarious. And it was true. It's true. I mean, she was playing it up for the cameras, and she knew that.
Oh yeah.
Because guys, she's a showman.
It was, oh my goodness. Oh geez. But
lest we forget, she is a showman. Her and her $7 Las Vegas residency tickets are showing up real nice.
That's crazy. I heard that they're marked down to like $1 now.
Oh my God. I didn't do that. Wow.
Well, what shocks, honestly, I was kind of surprised, because I thought that, I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I thought that her residency was going to do better than I thought. I didn't think that the tickets were going to go that cheap. But to me, I guess, like, I guess for me, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's like, I think she could have had a lot more sympathy than she did for the victims. A whole lot more, and actually could have had like, and actually feel something. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. Oh my gosh. Erica Jane is just, I don't know. I don't really know what to say.
I don't either at this point. I feel like she is really just kind of continuing to suffer the consequences of her own shitty behavior.
Of her actions, yeah, which is true. You know, it's like things, like they say, it's like things have a way of like coming back and circling back to you. And
well, and it's fine to apologize in scenes, and I do feel for her. She's a very good actress, or I'm just like, you know, somebody that's willing to overlook certain things. But because there's something about her in there that I do like. I think a lot of it is exterior. I think we all know that. And I think there's like a softer heart in there somewhere. But, you know, it's fine to apologize, but now you should actually act better. Now you have to
exactly.
And as far as I can tell, she's always been basically a self-absorbed asshole. I mean, she had to like really dig deep with her therapist about how to express empathy.
I mean, because she's really, like, what was that the season that somebody called her an ice queen, was it?
Yeah. And she kind of prided herself on that.
Yeah.
And, she gets away with behaving badly because of that facade, because quite frankly, I don't care what they say, every single woman on that show is intimidated by her. They don't want the smoke.
Yeah, very true. That's so true. They are intimidated by her. But it's interesting. It's very I'm curious as to why, like, isn't she dating somebody or she's dating around?
That's another thing I was gonna say. Wouldn't it be nice to see her date? Like something with a little levity, some lighthearted.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it would be nice. I think it really would be nice to actually see her date and somebody closer to her age.
I agree.
Somebody that's actually, attractive and not a grandpa, like.
Exactly. Yeah. Not someone who's just a sole provider. Like, yeah, you can have somebody. Yeah, I would love to see it with somebody with some, change in their pockets wouldn't be nice. People like what they like and they want what they want. If that's with the standards she's used to, so be it. But it would be nice to see somebody it's like someone that that can keep up with her.
And I mean, she looks great, and quite frankly, I don't really care how she lost the weight.
Me too. I'm the same way, Jacqueline. I'm the same way, because honestly, this is what makes me laugh the most. Because it's what cracks me up is that I'm like, if you're on Ozempic, I can care less if you're on Ozempic or not.
Exactly.
Wait, you do you, like, you do you, boo. That's fine. That's your business. I think what just cracks me up is the fact that a lot of these same women who are wanting to get these injections, these Ozempic shots and stuff, are like a lot of the same ones I saw on my timeline who are.
Okay, guys, we're back. So PK and Dorit, what about that? Do we think that there's any truth to the split stuff?
I think there is. I think it's really recent. Who was talking about it? I think Donna was talking about it. She said that she heard it was a very, very close source to theirs. And that circle said that it's real and it's very recent.
Yeah,
I could see it.
Seems to be. Maybe they were caught off guard by it being announced or something. But
I think so.
Yikes. That really does actually make me pretty sad.
It kind of does too, because maybe Dorit's not my favorite person. But like, actually, I mean, it seems like they worked as a couple, and I didn't feel like because I feel like a lot of husbands who are in a position of power were the ones bringing all the money. I feel like a lot of times they'll berate their wives, but I don't really feel like he does that with her, like, or not as much as other people.
No, and I don't think he suffers a lot of her nonsense either. He's very
true
to minimize it. And she's not an idiot, by any means. I know she picks up on the digs and things like that.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I mean, other than her fake accent.
Well,
that throws me.
Again, with that. I'm with y'all. She's absolutely never been my favorite. I mean, I just kind of take her or leave her, but I do think, I don't know why. I just think that is kind of sad, and it's a lot for one season. I mean, 2 breakups, 2 very significant breakups.
Yeah, and
it is definitely, and it looks like the stuff with Dorit and PK, it seems like it's hinging on the home invasions, because apparently was their home broken in twice, apparently.
Okay,
yeah, I heard it was.
No, so this is the thing, because that's what originally, like, some clickbait that I saw was advertising, but then I dug into it deeper, and apparently she's quoted as saying that, like, several months after the robbery, she had, I guess, gotten a large sum of money out of the ATM. And she had it in her purse, and then she did some shopping, and somebody took her purse out of her shopping cart with the cash inside of it. And
that's what happened. Okay.
They had gone back and looked at the security footage, and apparently I think saw 3 men who had been following her for some time.
Oh,
And
that's
I guess
creepy.
those were the suspects, or maybe they saw him actually lift it, or whatever the case may be. What happened with that, I have no idea, but that's what the deal is with that.
Yeah, because
Got
I
it.
were saying that
Okay.
the timing's interesting, but with I guess with the robbery or whatever. But I mean, I don't really know too much about it to like draw my own conclusions. But it seems like too, like what Kim said, or that which I forgot about was how PK was like he kind of started like that she was kind of taking it too seriously, or she was getting too upset about it, or too fragile about the whole thing, and I can kind of I can see now where that can lead to like feelings of resentment and
Sure.
probably separate.
Sure, and I'm sure she's probably the type that's using that as an excuse for every bad behavior in the book, and then some. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like
Mm-hmm.
there's only so much weight that takes. I mean, yes, of course it's traumatic, but we all go through some level of trauma in life, and ultimately it's your responsibility on how you're going to move past it. She is a mother and a wife, and it's happened some time ago, and she has all the resources in the world to get herself some sort of psychological care that's sufficient to move beyond that, you know?
Right.
I think she has the definitely the financial means to do it. I think though too, it's like it's a matter of finding the right people to help you, and with the right tools to help you move past trauma. Because it wasn't until I got the right tools, like from my trauma I had, it wasn't until I got those like almost 5 years later that I finally like, just snapped and just completely turned my whole life and everything back around. But so it could be that, because even for me, like with just going to a therapist and just repeating it and regurgitating it over and over again, there was really no resolution. And I had no resolution
Sure.
too, because I had someone that was a perpetrator that was still nothing happened to them. And so I could see, and then of course she doesn't know if they're going to come back or not. I feel like he could have been more sympathetic, and he seemed like I thought his reaction was pretty shitty. Like it really surprised me, but that he would act the way he did.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, I see more her side, but I can kind of see his side, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like
I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And again, these are conversations that are based on a lot of things, and a lot of things that we're not seeing. So who really knows at the end of the day?
Very true. Yeah, which is very
He's
true, because
he's
that
probably
comes
a
like
little
kind of like
naive.
Blair said.
Right.
Yeah. I like her new look though. I will say that.
Oh, I'm digging. Yeah, me too. I'm digging her dark hair. That
I
looks really
almost
good
didn't
on her.
It's
recognize
very
her.
becoming.
She looks
Mm-hmm.
younger, I feel like, with
She
the darker
does.
hair. And maybe she's a little bit more tan, or maybe her tan just pops with the darker
I
hair. I
think
don't
she is a
know.
little more tan. She does a little more tan than me.
Yeah, which is,
It's
I mean, she should be pretty light skinned naturally, I would think.
yeah.
She might need to cool it on that a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
she looks good though. Yeah, I
It
was
was like
stunned. I
good,
was like, oh, I
yeah.
almost didn't recognize her.
do you all miss Rinna or Diana Jenkins?
I don't miss Diana Jenkins at all.
Diana,
She was
absolutely
the best.
not.
No.
Um,
Rena a little bit.
Brenna, Brenna, not really, but like not yet. I'll say not yet because it just started.
Yeah,
But have you? Mhm.
Rinna was kind of love to hate for me, you know.
I can see that.
She
Yeah,
stirred
she
the
was definitely
pot.
entertaining to watch.
Right. And for me, that was an old school throwback to Days of Our Lives, because I've been watching her since then.
Oh, that's right. You did. You sure have. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Maybe it'll be a different show without the Kathy, Lisa, all of that drama. Maybe we can look for some light in all the dark. Maybe these ladies will actually
Yeah.
come together. Kind of, I was thinking like Real Housewives of Miami, when the Lenny Hochstein and Lisa Hochstein stuff happened. No matter
Yeah,
what was
definitely.
going on with any of their beef, they really did rally as females, and that
Yeah,
was
Yeah,
nice to see.
they did.
right. And I feel like that. I feel like that I mean, I'm hoping I will see it. But if anything, I feel like I'll probably see that for maybe like Garcelle, or because she's one of the few of them who just doesn't get overly. If she doesn't get overly saturated in the drama. And she's more of a peacemaker and very reasonable. Plus, like for this part, the only thing that she just has going on with her is like her kids and like them wanting her to be home more. Because like I think why I guess her being on the show is a little bit of a double-edged sword. Because I mean, on one hand, it's gotten her more notoriety and more work, but on the other hand, she's working a lot more, and her kids don't have as much time with her. And it sounds like they're not really that with their dad, I think, or being with them that much.
Well, and the fact that she's having that open dialogue with her sons was obviously a very touching moment, certainly very relatable, but I mean, that makes her a good mom. It means that she
does, yeah, it really does.
The foundation is there. So I think that that was a great scene.
Right. And I feel like we didn't get enough of Crystal. Was she even
I was gonna say. The only scene I remember with Crystal was with her husband talking.
Exactly. Literally, my notes, it says, I feel like we heard more out of her husband than we did her the whole episode.
Yeah. Which that is kind of alarming, because I'm wondering if they're trying to like, I don't know. It was just so weird because there was barely next to no dialogue from her this whole episode.
I mean, she was so confusing to me last season with this whole Sutton thing and the violated story.
She threw me off completely with that. I was like, what is it? Like, what is it? What isn't it?
I think it was the season before last, because they get along
now. Yes, okay. Gosh, that seems like I'm still.
It seems like so long ago now.
On that. I really am. I just think there was no resolution, and like, what were you trying to do in the first place?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then like Crystal saying that whatever she said was dark, and I was like, oh.
And everyone was like, okay, so what was it? What did she say that was dark? And it was just like, dun dun dun, nothing.
Absolutely no resolution, no explanation, no real clear motive. Like, who was she trying to make look bad? Because I mean, there was something going on there that was shady. And and everyone knows it, but we're just allowing her to just be like a little deer in the headlights about it, I guess. Still,
yeah, sure.
I don't know. I think she's pointless, but prove me wrong, I guess. I would like to see a little bit more of her, just to know kind of what her frame of reference is this season. You know, she's there for a reason. Obviously, let's hear it. But
yeah, because like I'm actually curious. I'm actually a little bit surprised she's been on the show as long as she has been.
Me too.
Even though, like, I even actually like Crystal.
I don't have a real problem. I just think she's boring at best, and when she's trying to stir it up, what she doesn't make any sense to me.
That's true too.
You know?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right. So anyway, anything else, guys? I know you guys have to wrap it up here soon, and we've been on for a minute, but that's really all I have on the Beverly Hills stuff.
I think that's it, but I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to the rest of the season. I mean, too bad the first episode I think was a little bit of a downer and just a little bit not very exciting, really, but it didn't give a lot. It wasn't the rest of the season will.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into some serious meat and potatoes, especially about Kyle and Mauricio stuff. I have a feeling this next season or this next episode up might be pretty meaty, and then we're probably in line for a couple boring or semi-boring ones. But I'm interested to see how it all goes down and what the women do with all of this, how everyone moves.
Right. I'm curious about that too. Like, who's gonna be taking whose side, and that's gonna be really interesting.
Absolutely.
And with the new housewife coming.
Oh yeah, yes.
Oh, I forgot about her.
What
is her name? I heard she was an anesthesiologist.
I can't remember.
Oh, is she may be.
That's literally
I need to research her. I need to research. It's been months since I've researched her, and sadly I have not looked at her anymore than I had like a few months ago, and I completely forgot her name.
She'll come in somehow. It would have been interesting to have Will Smith's ex-wife back on.
I was just thinking that a second ago.
I liked her. She was great.
Yeah, especially
I thought she was going to come back.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I thought that would have been nice to have her on there as a housewife.
Because it seemed like people liked her. That's why I was surprised she didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Maybe she just wants to stay out of the spotlight because of what's going on with the act.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, more to be revealed, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us. This was really fun.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, so for you guys listening, I have been on with Kimberly and Blair Bryant of the Pop Culture Green Room. You can follow them on Spotify and social media, and they'll be putting this out on their platforms as well, I believe. So
yes.
Alrighty. Okay, well, thank you guys for joining me. It was awesome recapping Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We'll have to do this again sometime soon.
Of course, we have
absolutely.
fun. I really enjoyed this.
This was so much fun.
All right, guys, we'll have a good rest of your weekend.
You
Thank you.
too. Thank you so much again. All right, bye-bye.